This time of the year, I usually talk about timeline and planner for fall 2026 applications, but let's not kid ourselves. This is not another year. This is a very different world we are living in. Everything is changing very rapidly. The risks are different and the rewards are very different. So we need a different mindset to think about these major career decisions. Now, in one of the previous videos, I talked about everything you need to plan properly if you are heading to study abroad in fall 2025. That is, if you already had an admit and if you are going abroad this year, then those are the things you should have planned for. But today I want to take a step back and talk about everything you need to know before you even decide whether studying abroad is right for you and how to plan for it in fall 2026. So give me just few minutes and I'll walk you through all those things on the other side of this intro. Keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you are doing well. Now, just a few days ago, this post got viral and it was posted by Rajesh Sani, who is the founder and CEO of GSF Accelerator, which mentors and invests in early stage tech startups. Now, he himself is a Harvard MBA and a fellow at London School of Economics. So yes, a credible person. Now, he was warning Indians that there are no jobs for them in US, Canada, UK anymore, and especially targeting IITians, right? Now, the post got a lot of traction and many current students also jumped into the discussion. They started sharing how tough things have been for them and their classmates this year abroad. And they are recommending everyone to think through whether you want to put that kind of money in a study abroad education anymore or not. And this is not the only post. There are many posts like this on social media these days. This means that you cannot just casually decide that, hey, I want to study abroad in 2026. You have to really think it through. I want to make this easier for you guys. So I'm going to give a structure on how to think about this very important life-altering decision for yourself. So today I want to talk about 5 things. First is a Stanford exercise, which I think you should do before you begin even thinking about this process. Second is diversify your risk. Third is don't romanticize life. And fourth is learn this very critical skill. It's not AI. And number 5th is being frugal. And this is how I can help you with Scholar Strategy. So these 5 points I think will maybe give you some more clarity. It will help you declutter the noise around this topic. So yeah, let's get started. So let's start with the Stanford's Odyssey planning exercise. And I want you to experience this before you decide on anything for fall 2026, and you will shortly understand why. So this was created by their famous Life Design Lab. This is how it works, and I'm obviously customizing it a bit more for the study abroad audience. So the first step is to imagine 3 different 5-year life paths starting in fall 2026. So here plan A could be your dream study abroad path. This is when you get into your dream country, your dream university abroad. You study your ideal courses, get the internships and jobs as you hope to, and maybe you even start your green card journey or you settle there. So this is when everything falls into the place as you're planning it right now. So what are the risks? What are the rewards in this case? What does this life look like? Plan B could be the conservative plan, which is maybe stay back in India or your plan B country. So if you don't get into your top choice of country or some things go wrong, maybe your visa doesn't work out or the ROI doesn't make sense anymore, or for whatever reason, let's say you don't go to that country, maybe you go to some other country, or you stay back in India. In this case, what are you going to do? You pursue a job, you maybe enroll in some program back in India or this new country, or you're upskilling through some other certifications. You're trying to build income through opportunities available in these alternate countries or India, right? Now, what will this life look like? Think about that. And third plan, or plan C, is the wild card plan. This is where you imagine something completely wild where you have no constraints. That is, if you could do anything, what would that look like? You might take a gap year to build something of your own, like a startup or even posting content or online business, or you might even want to learn something completely unconventional like pastry making. I don't know, right? The point is to ask yourself, if I could design life from scratch without expectations, what would I try? Second step is to now compare these paths, like which plan feels most exciting versus most secure, what skills or habits will benefit you in all of these, where are my blind spots, that is like, am I heavily dependent on finances or network or emotional resilience to succeed in these paths. So think about this. The whole point is we do this exercise because it forces us to imagine alternate futures more clearly. Many of us are just living on autopilot, right? We think this is the only path available in front of us, but the Odyssey plan forces us to zoom out, ask bigger questions, and imagine other routes as well. It shows you how many options you actually have and which ones are worth pursuing. So this is not to fantasize, but to choose more intentionally. So I like it. It may make you drop your study abroad plan altogether, or it may give you better confidence at it. So either ways, it's good to think about it now than have to make a desperate choice later on. Next point is diversify your risk. Here's a reality check. No single country or degree guarantees success. Anything can go wrong anywhere. World is so unpredictable right now. So my advice, don't just look at US, don't just look at a degree, think bigger. You want to diversify your career or job risk. For example, do you understand what your area would look like in the AI era? In my career coaching calls, which I get a lot of requests for these days, many mid-career professionals talk about one thing. They are scared of getting replaced by AI or automation. It is happening not just in testing or low-quality documentation work. It is happening in creative industry, hospitality, pharma, customer management, and of course in software. You need to think 5 to 10 years down the line, what does my role look like? And if you think it's going to get eliminated, you have to think of the alternative right now. I mean, even the major you are choosing has to be well thought through. Does it even make sense to do masters in software engineering anymore, for example? Of course, you want to diversify your visa and PR risk as well. Relying entirely on the US or any other one country can backfire if the visa rules or job markets shift drastically. Also, you want to diversify your financial risk. I mean, don't put all your savings in a degree, invest a little, think of passive income and so on as well. It might mean going for a more affordable program than spending $100,000 on Columbia. Always create backup income streams, whether it's freelancing, part-time gigs, digital products, whatever. The point is apply to multiple countries, pick programs that offer strong post-study work rights or are much cheaper, maybe Germany, France, Australia, or whatever. Your goal is diversify smartly, just like we do in investing. Spread your career risk. You don't want to be putting all your eggs in one masters in US or masters in UK basket. And no, I'm not saying Germany or France are better, okay? Because I mean, we have done videos and we saw even that Ireland has its own issues. So every country has its own issues. But which cons or which downsides are you willing to live with is what you have to decide, and then you can choose country accordingly. But don't put all your eggs in one country alone. Third point I want to talk about is don't romanticize the life abroad. I mean, I get it, right? The charm of owning a house in Dallas or driving a Mercedes or Tesla or BMW, it's a big pull for the study abroad dream. And then on top of it, influencers or Instagrammers make it look like a glam life 24/7. But it couldn't be farther from reality. And what I'm noticing is that when you go with such heavy expectations or assumptions about what it is like to live in these countries, you can get disappointed easily too. Life in 2025 is full of anxiety because of jobs and visas. You want to be financially prudent and not splurge on luxury goods. And it is a lot of lonely and hard work, right? So be mentally prepared, because romanticizing leads to just unrealistic expectations and potential burnout. So hope for the best. Try to build a solid career for yourself so that yes, you can afford any of these things, but they should not be the primary motivation why you are going abroad. Fourth is learn the critical skills which are beyond AI. So I was chatting with my friend who's now a director level product manager at Salesforce, and we both were laughing how the only skills we need in corporate life is negotiation, sales, argument analysis, etc. Everything else you can learn from a YouTube video. But if you're in grad school, take some of these management or softer classes as well, because those profs are effing awesome. And if they teach you using case methods, then you would really remember those lessons for a long time. So even if you cannot take these classes in grad school, try to learn them online. You cannot go really high in your career without being good at people management. You just cannot, right? You may know AI, algorithms, calculus or stats, which are all great for some specific R&D roles and industries. But please also learn critical thinking, communication, persuasion, negotiation, and adaptability. You will really thank me later. Anything else can and will be replaced by AI eventually. So be mentally resilient and master your soft skills. Fifth is a crucial point. You have to be frugal, and this is how I can help you. So we have already talked about being financially responsible and all. And this is not just about penny pinching, right? It's about maximizing your opportunities. This is not the time to spend $200,000 on a degree without clear ROI. Save it, invest it, spend only affordable amount on a decent university, and live within your means. Don't fall for this YOLO shit, And how I'm planning to be of more help this year is I want to introduce an inner circle community for all master's aspirants at Scholar Strategy, because I know not everyone can join our personal admission consulting. But if you join this community, you can get access to our monthly Q&As with me, chat support, peer discussions. We will also announce special discount plans first in these communities and help in any way we can. I'm going to leave the details in the description. Join if it's relevant, and let's help you navigate your future together. So I am all geared up for our fall 2026 session because I've really had an awesome time with our clients last year, and I cannot wait to work with super talented folks again this year. We already have started enrolling, and some people have already started working with us. But yes, I don't want you to blindly jump on this study abroad bandwagon. Think it through, decide if it's worth it for you, and if you do decide to go ahead, I hope to see you in our inner circle community. Hope this helps. I'm here if you have any specific questions or requests for future videos. I hope the points we have covered today will help you make a better decision for fall 2026. That is, whether you should go for study abroad, and if you go for it, how to plan for it, right? That's it then. I'll see you guys next week with a fresh new video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.